The first mistake I made that year was trusting a man who smiled like he knew something I didn't, and the second was signing a contract while hungry, irritated, and mentally composing a grocery list instead of reading the fine print that would legally turn me into a billionaire's wife. In my defense, no reasonable human being expects marriage to be hidden between clauses about confidentiality, liability, and mutual benefit. If I had known matrimony was lurking on page 47 like a jump scare, I would have at least worn better shoes that day. But let me rewind, because this story deserves context, background, and several warnings. At the time, my life was aggressively average. I was 28, broke in that very specific way, where you're not poor, but your bank app laughs every time you open it. I worked as a contract consultant, one of those flexible jobs that meant I had the freedom to panic in different locations. My apartment was small, my car made noises that felt threatening, and my biggest luxury was ordering extra guacamole and pretending I wasn't calculating the consequences. So when an email landed in my inbox offering a short-term consulting contract with Varelli Group, I almost deleted it, assuming it was spam or one of those scams where a foreign prince needs your help transferring funds. But then I saw the zeros. Plural. Multiple zeros. Enough zeros to make me sit upright like a cartoon character smelling pie. Varelli Group was legendary. Global. Untouchable. The kind of company people whispered about in elevators. And its CEO, Lucian Varelli, was one of those men business magazines loved. Tall, private, terrifyingly successful. The kind of billionaire who didn't do interviews and therefore became more interesting because of it. I accepted immediately. Dignity be damned. 2 days later, I was sitting in a glass-walled conference room that smelled like money and eucalyptus, being handed a contract the size of a small novel. Standard procedure, the lawyer said, smiling like a shark in a tie. Just sign at the bottom. I skimmed. Or rather, I pretended to skim. I caught phrases like non-disclosure, fixed duration, exclusive professional engagement. All normal corporate stuff. My stomach growled. I was thinking about food, about rent, about how I would finally replace my dying laptop. So, I signed. With confidence. With flourish. With absolutely no idea what I had just done. 3 weeks into the job, I realized something was off. For one, Lucian Varelli took an unusual interest in my work. Not in a creepy way, more like an intense, observant way, as if I were a very interesting spreadsheet. He attended meetings he didn't need to attend. Asked questions only I could answer. Corrected people who interrupted me. He also insisted I live on site at the company's private residential wing for efficiency. I should have run. Instead, I asked if the room had good Wi-Fi. Then there were the dinners. Not dates, meetings apparently. Private ones. Candlelit ones. With wine that cost more than my monthly rent. He was polite, dryly funny, maddeningly calm. I thought he was just eccentric, which billionaires are allowed to be, like a personality perk. Then one evening, while I was rambling about a project and eating dessert I definitely couldn't pronounce, he said casually, "You should know we're married." I laughed. A full, honest laugh. Then I realized he wasn't joking. "What?" I said. He slid a document across the table. The contract. Highlighted. Clause 49B. In consideration of long-term strategic alignment, both parties agree to a legally binding spousal union under applicable jurisdiction. I stopped reading. My soul left my body, came back, and left again. "I'm sorry," I said slowly. "Are you telling me I accidentally married you?" "Yes." "Like, legally?" "Yes." "To a billionaire?" "Yes." "Without a ceremony?" "There was paperwork." I stared at him. "I need a drink." "You're holding one." I drank it. Hard. Turns out, the contract was part of an unconventional arrangement. Lucian needed a wife. Not for love, for business. Certain legacy clauses. Old family trusts. Conditions so archaic they probably came with a powdered wig. He needed a spouse with no conflicting ties, no scandals, no ambition for the spotlight. Someone invisible. Someone like me. And I needed money. This was supposed to be transactional. Temporary. Quiet. Except no one told my nervous system that. Living as a billionaire's wife, even secretly, is disorienting. Suddenly people bowed, slightly when I walked into rooms. My closet tripled in size. My problem became choosing between two identical luxury cars. And Lucian, my accidental husband, was infuriatingly considerate, respectful, dryly humorous. He never touched me without permission, never raised his voice, never treated me like an accessory, which was inconvenient, because it's hard to hate a man who makes you tea exactly how you like it and argues politely with lawyers on your behalf. Halfway through this chaos, I finally cracked and reread the entire contract. That's when I realized something worse. I couldn't just leave. The marriage clause had penalties. Expensive ones. World-ending ones. I confronted him. "You tricked me," I accused. "You didn't read," he replied calmly. "That's victim blaming." He almost smiled. Somewhere between legal meetings, awkward public appearances, and pretending not to be married while definitely being married, something shifted. We argued like professionals, teamed up like conspirators, laughed at things no one else understood. And then I did the most dangerous thing of all. I started to care. If you're still reading at this point, pause right here and subscribe to Sinful Secret, because stories where contracts turn into marriages, billionaires catch feelings, and chaos follows are exactly what we do best. Of course, the truth eventually leaked. The press went feral. Mystery wife revealed. Who is she? From nobody to billionaire's bride. I hid in the bathroom and stress-eat chocolate. Lucian handled the storm like a man who had been expecting it his whole life. When the contract period ended, I expected an exit clause. A clean break. Instead, he handed me a new document. A shorter one. No fine print. Just a question. "Would you like to renegotiate?" he asked. "Without contracts?" I said yes. Because sometimes the biggest mistakes, like signing without reading, lead you exactly where you were meant to be. And if this story made you laugh, gasp, or reconsider signing anything while hungry, subscribe to Sinful Secret for more scandalous love stories, accidental marriages, and delicious chaos. Like, comment, and share, because the fine print always has secrets, and we're here to read them for you.